I think by now you guys know that I'm not apologetic that I have went through 2 marriages. And I think I need to touch base on that now that we are on that. I'm gonna talk to you about being divorced from my own perspective, and then I'm gonna talk from the perspective, from the Bible perspective. And for me, the glass is always half full and half empty. So I'm gonna share what I mean by that. So because the reason I have to share this is because there's a lot of people in the church who are being judged and being put on the side just because they are divorced. First of all, no one goes into a marriage to divorce. That's not why a woman, especially women fight for their marriages, honestly speaking. And like I said, I'm divorced for the second time, and I have not stopped believing in love, so I am going to get married. For me, it's not about marriage. For me, it's about I have had, and I'm getting a little bit out of like the Matthew teaching itself, but I think these things are important, especially when you know there's people in the church that are divorced, that are going through this, being thrown on the side and so on. So, honestly speaking, as I said, no one goes through a marriage to divorce. You work hard on your marriage, and eventually it doesn't work out, and you have to walk out, or whatever, or the other person walk out, whatever. Okay, sorry about that. We were disturbed by some noise. Okay, so what I wanted to say is I've heard the narrative of like what I hear other women are saying, that I'm educated, I don't need a man, I have this and this, I have a house, I have a whatever. And for me, like all those things cannot replace a man. And I'm saying for me, I'm proudly saying that for me, all those things cannot replace a man in your life. So I'm happy to say that I might not need a man for like things, or like even materialistic benefits or whatever, but I definitely do want a man to be able to share my day, how it went, and well, to lay down on his shoulders and hold hands. You know what? I'm a woman who has a lot of love in me, so I'm not apologetic about wanting to share love with someone from the opposite side. I'm very proud to say that I'm not apologetic. I do want a man. So having said that, I'm not desperate in the sense of I want to get married. Marriage is only because obviously I am a Christian, and there's some things that kind of in the long run you want them to happen in the marriage, obviously. So eventually those things are, and I think you already know what I'm referring to. Those things are not important, at least not for me, but they are important to a certain level, because we are physical beings and we have physical needs that needs to be met. And well, it's God's fault. God put it there. We could have, and please don't say that it's because of having to have children. We can have children any other way. I mean, God is God, right? He's Almighty. So He knew that He created that for your pleasure, for the pleasure of a man and the pleasure of a woman. Yeah. But having said that, one of the things that I use as an example is how even single women judge the us that are coming out of divorce. And I'm not trying to kind of be rude to you in the sense of if you are single, or maybe put you down or whatever, but I think most single women really judge people that are coming from out of divorce, because they go like, oh no, like it's almost looking like maybe you are, I don't know, but I think you know what I'm talking about. So one of the things that I say is this. For example, let me take my own example. I came from a second marriage and now I'm divorced. So if a single woman who's maybe my age or even a little bit younger or even older come and judge me based on that, I'm going to put this to you. Men usually don't want to commit. When a man commit to a marriage, it means that he saw that, oh my God, this woman, I need to settle down with her. When a man commit to a marriage, they see potential of a good woman. So what am I saying? If one man saw a potential in me and eventually didn't work out for whatever reasons, and then a second man see a potential in me, even if that didn't work as well, and now a third man is going to see a potential in me, and you are still sitting there single? Come on, girl. I think you know the answer. It means I am a good woman. So don't put us down because we are divorced. For me, it means I'm a good woman. It means I have things that men see in me as a potential to be able to want to settle down with me. And that's a good thing. So I'm not going to put myself down because I'm divorced. No. And for me, it's also the other thing that it's better to have tried something and failed than not to have tried at all. And to the single woman, let me address that. The thing is with you is that you are single, yet you are not really single, because you are enjoying the benefit of being in a relationship. So let's face it, sometimes when these people are saying that, oh no, I don't want to get married, I don't want a man, I want to stay single, it's because they're afraid that no one is going to actually eventually ask them to settle down with them. So that fear makes them to act like they really don't want to get married. Because if you don't want to get married and you don't want a man, then stay single for real. You can have sexual intercourse and, you know, enjoy the benefit of the man, like taking care of your car and making groceries for you. But apparently, oh no, I don't want a man, I don't need a man. It means you need to. You need a man because they are doing all those things for you and you're enjoying it. Unless you want to say you want to use a man. So me personally, I believe in marriage. I believe in love. I will never stop believing in that. And that's me, Jehovah. Okay, so we were looking, hi guys and welcome back. Sorry about that. So we were looking at divorce from Matthew's perspective, and we're just going to touch base on it. It's not the whole main purpose of why I'm talking to you about Matthew, but it's part of it and it's important. So Matthew, and it was Jesus really speaking these words. It was only from, Matthew's perspective. So Jesus was saying, and I think it's the 31st and the 32nd verse, where Jesus says that whoever divorces his wife except for adultery must give that woman a divorce certificate. But even though you gave them that divorce certificate, you are going to make them look like they are adulterers, right? But the other thing is this. Jesus said that, right? And I know most teachers concentrate on that when they want to put down the woman that she shouldn't get married again. Well, you are not going to do that to me because I know my rights in Christ. And let's hear Jesus out. Because now we're going to hear Jesus. Jesus said that. But the same Jesus who said that actually go on in the 27th and the 28th verse. Let's listen to what Jesus said adultery is. He said, whoever look at a woman with lustful eyes commit adultery. And then he went further on. And this has nothing to do with adultery, but it's going to rain that on. He said that he's talking about now whoever is angry at another person, and I think I touched base like on my previous teaching, has committed murder. And then he said when your eye is like leading you into lust or whatever, gouge it out and cut your hands and all that. Now this is the thing. Even when we go to divorce now, right? Adultery and all that. Have you ever seen anyone walking around with one eye or one hand? Could it mean that every single person is so perfect that they have never done those things that Jesus said they are? Listen where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from is this. The teachers would want to manipulate these verses to mean what they want it to mean, or when they want to accomplish a certain narrative. So they will talk about the divorce from the perspective of, oh no, when you divorce you shouldn't get married again because your husband is not dead. But they will ignore this, and they will say the other verses means like, oh no, Jesus didn't mean that literally, like he meant it in a way of like can you see what I mean? So who got to decide what Jesus meant and what Jesus didn't? Can you see what I mean? So all this is just like to manipulate the Bible verses to fit a narrative that you want to accomplish. Having said that, this Matthew is not about divorce, but I have to touch base on that because most people in the church are crucified because of. I actually forgot something to mention when it comes to divorce. And I think I have to teach about divorce on a separate teaching. But most people don't think Moses was divorced, but Moses was. And most people will say that, oh no, Jehovah, even if you're saying that Moses got married to an Ethiopian woman, in the Old Testament, people were married to more than one woman, so what do you mean he's divorced? But after Zipporah and Moses had that argument about their two sons, I think there was something about being circumcised or whatever the case was, you don't hear of any mention of Zipporah because Moses was married to Zipporah, right? But after that, it is written in the Bible that Moses got married to an Ethiopian woman. And I think you remember the case of Miriam and Aaron being unhappy and, God striking Miriam with leprosy. And I think it brings something to my attention because remember, when I'm teaching, some things come to my attention. So whoever has always associated, uncleanness with blackness, now you can see that there's a certain way of whiteness that is also associated with uncleanness, because leprosy was where you turn completely white and it was regarded as unclean. So that's news for you, I guess. Anyway, so Aaron and Miriam were unhappy about this Ethiopian woman because probably they thought she was black, she was Ethiopian. But then God said, okay, let me make you more white and see how you will like that. And obviously we know the history, right? But in that sense, Moses was divorced. If he was not divorced, where was Zipporah? Why don't we hear about Zipporah ever again? It's because most people protect their leaders when they are divorced, but then they go ballistic about members in the church that are divorced, which is so bad. There's some